So, you're a Han Solo wannabe, huh? Well, this ain't no Millennium Falcon, but it'll get the job done. Hey everybody, Troa here, back for another episode of Elite Dangerous, and in this episode, the last episode of 2015, or at least the possible last episode of 2015, I might be able to get another one out before then, but if not, this is going to be the last one. Anywho guys, what we're doing today is we're going to be doing long-range smuggling. Now, for any of you who've probably played this game, most of you have probably seen Star Wars, and most of you have probably come into this game wanting a little bit of that Han Solo action, you know what I'm saying? So you want to do some smuggling. Alright, I can help you with that. So here's my guide on how to do long-range smuggling. Now here's the thing, first and foremost I'm going to get this out of the way. Technically, this is an exploit. So, expect Frontier to patch this soon, which is why I'm going ahead and releasing the video. I hope that some version of this will still exist after they patch it. And they make no mistake, they are going to patch this. There is no way that you should be able to make this kind of money in a ship that you can get this early on. Now, to put this into perspective, there is the capacity to make as much money doing what I'm going to show you how to do today as I am currently making in my cutter. Alright? So, to kind of put that in perspective, a trading cutter that I'm smuggling in makes almost as much as this. Yeah, let that sink in for just a second. So, make no mistake, they are going to patch this. And if you do this, I accept no responsibility whatsoever if you miss out on a lot of the game. And I want to preface this because you will effectively skip every ship from the ASP to the cutter as far as money-making potential, and it will spoil you. So keep this in mind. This is why do so at your own disclosure, do so at your own risk, do so at your own discretion. So I'm still going to show you guys how to do it. If you need that little leg up, you might want to do it maybe 1 or 2 times. You can be a little bit more lenient with it. I'm going to try to get as much money as I can in one run today for the purposes of this tutorial, but that's really it. So without further ado, let's get into it. First thing, as with anything, is the prep. And in this case, the prep is all... it makes a really, really big deal. Now you can do this in an ASP. You can do it in an ASP, you can do it in an adder, you can do it in a hauler, you can do it in a Cobra, which would be probably one of the best ships to do it in. You can do it in a Python, but you can do it in a Type 6. Those are all relatively fast ships that you can smuggle in. They can jump a pretty far distance, and they're pretty quick, and they can land at outposts. That's the requirement. The ASP is, I think, the pinnacle, the best one to use. Now you can use a Python, that's perfectly fine. And there's a lot of misinformation going on about this, and I'm going to dispel a few of those things. But here is my preferred build, if you will. So to go ahead and start out here, I have an A3 power plant. And the reason why I have an A3 is because it weighs less than a D4, it has better heat dissipation than an D4, and I mean, you can do it with a D4 if you want. You can do this in any way. So, again, disclaimer, outfitting is kind of a point of contention, and there are going to be a lot of people with different loadouts. This is mine. So, A3 power plant. I have A5 thrusters, and the reason why I went ahead and gone with A5 is, well, A, I have the means, and B, they don't really weigh too much more. They weigh 20 tons, and the D5 ones weigh 8. That really isn't a lot. A5 also use more power, so as you can see, the deployed goes down to 1087, whereas it's 1240 here. So if you do run with lower class thrusters, you want to have a go ahead and downgrade the power plant. You can eke out a bit more of your jump range. I don't really care that much because it's a kind of a minimal difference. Let's see. If I go down to D5 thrusters, I go to 2686, and then yeah. So I mean, I gained maybe 1 light year, but at the expense of that much speed, maneuverability, stopping power, turning potential, for me, it's not worth it. I go ahead and go with the A5 thrusters. And you can do whichever one you prefer. For the frameshift drive, it's very obviously an A class, A5. For the maximum jump range you can get, life support is a D class for weight. And the power distributor, now you can go with the D class here, but again, is it really worth it? So an A class goes ahead and weighs a little bit more. Let's see here. So that one weighs 10 tons. If I go with a D4, it weighs 4 tons. So 6 ton difference. Not really that big. So 26.52, 26.18. So yeah, 30.30 on the jump range is not really going to kill me. So that's fine. Sensors are D-class for weight once again. And if you're going to upgrade either your power distributor, thrusters, or both, if you're going to do one or the other, do the power distributor. You can boost much more often, and that will help you out more. The thrusters weigh more and use more power, and make you run a little bit hotter. So if you're going to have one of them be a D class, this is the one to have it be a D class. Again, I don't think it's quite worth it if you have the means, but if you don't, that's one place you can save some money. The last thing I'm going to go over here is the fuel scoop. Again, if you have the means, I suggest getting an A5. The quicker you can get out to the station, which are going to be a few 300 light years or so away, the faster you can get there, do your missions, and come back. Basically, your downtime is going to be your limiting factor. The more you can get done in an amount of time, the more money you make. And every jump you take is going to add time. And every second you take at every star you fill up is going to take time. Fuel scoops don't weigh anything, so you can have, you could have an A6 in here. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could, and it's not really going to change anything, weight-wise and your jump range-wise. So there's that. Cargo racks, I go ahead and have the Class 6, 2 Class 3s, and 2 Class 2s. Why? Because I don't want to limit myself. If I have another chance of picking up a mission that is worth a lot of money, well, there you go, I'm going to take it. As far as, you can put fuel tanks in here, sure. But if you do that, then you also limit yourself in potential missions that you're going to be able to pick up. It might mean that you don't need to scoop, but with an A5 fuel scoop, I can just quickly skim every star for like 7 seconds. That's about halfway it takes for my frameshift drive to cool down, get back out of the Corona, and then be able to jump away without having to take any heat damage. So, it's why fill up multiple slots and get rid of a bunch of cargo when you can really take care of it with one. So that's kind of my viewpoint on it. You can put a Class 3 fuel scoop in here. I would not recommend it because you're going to take forever to fuel scoop, and the more time you spend in Super Cruise, the more time you have to get interdicted. So take that into consideration. So I would say a Class 4 is the smallest, but because there's not a Class 4 in the ASP, you'd be taking up the 5 slot anyway, and if you have the means, you might as well put a Class A5 in there. Now, A5s are expensive, and to go ahead and put this in there, a Class A5 fuel scoop at 10% off is going to cost you just under 8 mil. And again, it weighs nothing. So it does take a little bit of power, but not really an issue. So there's that. Cargo racks, and then for the shield generator, because I'm running an undersized power plant, I don't really have the power to run this thing with any bit larger of a shield. I'm running a D3 because I'm not going to be taking a lot of damage. I'm primarily going to be running. So I might take a little bit of damage, but I'm not really going to be taking that much. And because I've put my power allocation towards speed in the case of thrusters and power distributor, I'm not really going to need a big shield because I'm going to be gone. There's not much that can keep up with you. And they only need to keep up with you for 15 seconds before you can jump away again. Or what is it? It might be 30 seconds because you have to wait for your FSD to cool down. Big whoop. So for 30 seconds of shield, that's fine. They're not going to kill you in that amount of time. Hardpoints, I don't have any utility mounts, and there's a few reasons for this. I'll get those in a second, but as far as weapons go, I have 2 Class 1 gimbaled beam lasers. And I'll get into why these are important, and I'll try to give you an example. But here's the premise. If you shoot an authority or pirate or anybody besides a player that is scanning you, they will immediately stop their scan. 100% of the time, they will stop scanning you, and they will fire. So you don't even need 2 of them. I have 2 of them because I want 2 of them. Because there's 2 tons you can save and a little bit of power. But I like having 2. And the reason I'm using beam lasers is twofold. One, I want to make sure I hit them. I don't want to miss and have to shoot again. 2, if I actually want to kill my opponent, 2 beam lasers are just about as much as this power distributor can handle, for an extended period of time. I could run 4 pulse, but that would weigh more than running 2 beams. So I have the effective same firepower with these 2 beams as I would 4 pulse lasers. Not at once and not as quickly, but I still have that damage. If I can stay behind somebody, which I can do pretty well, if I have one opponent, 2 beam lasers are going to be sufficient for me. Now, utility mounts, you can put chaff, you can put shield boosters, you can put heat sinks in here. Not necessary. And the reason why is because chaff does not 100% of the time stop NPC scans. There is a chance, according to Frontier, that it may or may not stop a scan from an NPC. It will stop scans from a player, but not necessarily an NPC. Now, heat sinks and running cold with silent running, and the traditional way that when the first game came out to smuggle, which was to go cold. Go cold and then run towards the station, turn everything back on at the last minute, and coast to a stop as you basically glide through the door. That's really dangerous, and you can fail all your missions by blowing up and having a rebuy. On top of that, you might miss and have to boot up, and then your time taking to get back in line, they could scan you. So, I don't think it's worth it. And, shield boosters, well, the reason for that is they weigh 3.5 tons a pop for the A-class. So, that's a lot of weight. And for long-range smuggling, again, the more time you take, the more time you have to get interdicted, and the longer your run takes, and the less money per hour you will generate. So that's the whole point there. So for me, going with the D-class, because I'm opting to go for maneuverability and speed, and the amount of times I can boost, for me, my power allocation is there, and not in defense. You can put it there. Again, salt and pepper to taste. If you don't think you can handle it with a D3 shield, put a bigger shield. If you don't think you can handle it without fuel tanks, put fuel tanks. If you don't think you can handle it without chaff, heat sinks, silent running, shield boosters, the works, by all means, go for it. But if you're confident in your flying ability, and this isn't really that difficult for me, so I might be projecting on you guys, and to be sure that I'm not, I'm going to give you the alternatives. But anyway, that's the build. But now for the most important part. Aw, yeah. You gotta go stealthy if you go and do this. Now, the whole premise here is you want to find a station that has smuggling missions that is far away from civilization. Now, there are a few places you can do this. You can go to places, if you want, you can also gain rank within a faction doing this. So, 2 prime examples of this are Fehu. And as you can see, it's quite a distance away. It's about 350 light years away from the bubble. And it is an Empire system. So if you go here, and you go to either station, it doesn't matter which one, you can pick up missions at either one of these places, come back, and go ahead and drop them all off and make a pretty tidy profit. Because it's so far away from the bubble, though, it forces the background simulation to generate missions that are long-range missions. Now, this can apply to smuggling and regular cargo hauling, but as well as courier missions. Now, if you want to gain extra rank, courier missions, stacking those along with smuggling missions, are a way to do so. It's actually, in my experience, the second fastest way to gain rank, is to go ahead and stack smuggling missions for the money and a little bit of rank, and courier missions for the rank. They take up no cargo space and they have 0 weight. So in an asp that can jump over 30 light years, it's a piece of cake. That's easy rank, because they're worth more too, as far as rank percentage goes. Regular courier missions in the bubble give you at most like 0.33% when you're, up in the higher ranks, 0.33%, whereas a courier mission from here by itself can give you 1%, and you can pick up 20 or 30 of them. You see where I'm going with this. Another place you can go, which is going to be the place we're going to go, is Robigo. And the difference between the two of them here, though, is that there are player groups that will shoot down anybody who shows up in an asp, basically, to take advantage of this. So my first rule here is go ahead and show up and depart in solo mode. I hate saying that, but that's what you gotta do, because there are people going to just kill you on sight, despite your intentions, and despite how much or how little you're going to go ahead and use the system. If you go here, just pick up a couple of, smuggling missions your first go, maybe wait 10 minutes and go ahead and get them more, that's not an exploit. That's playing within the things. That's playing within the rules of the game, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. However, if you're going to do what I'm going to show you how to do, and they don't know the difference, people are going to want to shoot you down. So, arrive and depart in solo mode because of that. Alright, so it's going to be 495 light years away from my current location, which is Jameson Memorial. It's going to take me 17 jumps to get there. So I'll see you guys once I get there, and we'll go from there. Now, another little trick here as we're coming in. The moment my speed hits the blue zone, floor it, 100% throttle. You won't overshoot, just be ready to hit the disengage button. Now, another thing is, from a distance, the landing pad is always on the edge, so that's the side you want to come in at. The side that has more mass to it is where those buildings are going to be. So it's something to pay attention to as you're coming in. Alright, so now that we're here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to the bulletin board. And what we're going to do here is we're going to be looking for missions, not necessarily for your faction, that get you a lot of money for not very much cargo. So let's look at this one here. Now this one is 7, just 7 slaves, and it's almost 4 million credits. So this is pretty much a perfect example of what you want. Now, this requires you to have a minimum trade rank of broker. Now, not all of them require a higher trade rank. So, for me, this is not an issue, but for some of you, it might be. Now, don't be discouraged. You can still get pretty good missions out here, even with a lower trade rank. So, as long as you've been trading up until this point and got yourself an asp and enough money to outfit it, you should be pretty good to get the majority of these missions. Maybe not the best ones, but you can get some pretty good ones nonetheless. So we're going to go ahead and grab this one here. 7 slaves for 351 light years. We're going to go to Ross 23. And it's have a 13-hour time limit. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. The effect on reputation is medium, which really, who cares what that is? This is, as far as I'm concerned, a non-issue. In fact, on influence for this cartel, basically, is going to be high. That doesn't matter. But here's the thing that does. Mission will fail if ship is scanned. And that's the thing with all deliveries like this. Shadow deliveries, smuggling missions, all of them. The goods are going to be prohibited at least at the destination station. And they will all fail if you are scanned, regardless as to whether or not they're prohibited in that system. They will fail regardless. Which is why when you switch to open to try to get out of this thing, If you start getting scanned, switch back to solo immediately, because players can scan you through the walls. NPCs won't even try. They could if they did, but they don't. Only players can. So let's go ahead and grab this mission. You can do surface missions, 6 of them for 1.7 million, and as I just showed, I can get a mission very similar to this that is, 3 times as good. So why would I do this? But the minimum trade rank here is mostly penniless, which you should have gotten by now, doing rare trading or what have you, to get the asp. Or even a type 6. So mostly penniless, again, here is an example. You have less time, only 3 hours, and you're still going 361 light years, but that's the price you pay. That's still absolutely plenty of time, though. Alright, so I don't want this one, so I'm going to decline it. What about this one? 1 slave for 1,000,000 credits. That's 1,000,000 per ton. I'll take it. So this is a penniless mission. Penniless. So, yeah. Again, these are easy to get. So here's where the magic happens. How you go ahead and make it to where you can go from one to the other is thus. Escape. Exit to main menu. Again, arriving and departing in solo mode. And I'm going to switch to open. And this is where the quote-unquote exploit happens. I'm not doing anything the game doesn't let me do. So again, you call it an exploit. Technically, I think it is, but technically it could be argued that it isn't. Now, if I start getting scanned right now, I'm out. I go back into solo mode immediately. Go to bulletin board, and we look for another mission. So here's one for 2.7, but it's 65. That's, nah, don't grab this. Not worth, as I just showed you. Here's another one here for 3.3 million for 3 slaves. 3 tons worth of cargo, so that's 1,000,000 per ton. Alright, I'll take it. And here's another one. So 3 million for 12. That's alright. You need to be a merchant. 8 hours. I'd grab this one in most situations, but I'm not going to right now for the purposes of the video. Here's another one. 3.7 for 7. This one's, I'd say this is middle of the road. This is what you could be fine with accepting. You can pass it up and get better ones if you want. I'm fine with this, so I'm going to go ahead and grab it. There we go. 5 million for 10. That's 500k per ton. That's okay. You need to have... yeah, this is not one you're going to find, but this is not even a good one, so I'm just going to decline this one. And yeah, here's some other ones here. There's a 5 million one. 85. Pfft, no. 3 million. That's alright. Now don't go for these. These are secret cargo runs. They're not worth it. Don't fall for those. Now, surface missions, another thing that I forgot to mention is if you go to a system where you're going to be, going ahead and actually delivering to a surface, if you don't have system data for that and you don't have a discovery scanner, you won't be able to find the actual planet outpost to be able to turn it in. So do not pick these up if you don't have a discovery scanner. We're almost full, 4 tons away from it. So it's time to go ahead and do missions. Now, as you can see, I have a few. So the total time up until this point, it's, let's see here. Yeah, it's been about 40 minutes, not even 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes since I took off from Jameson Memorial, got here, and went ahead and grabbed a whole bunch of missions. So I have about 48,885,291 credits worth of missions. And that is in this quick example that took me 30 minutes to get. And according to how your dice rolls, you can make a little bit more or you can make a little bit less, but this is why it's so good. And this is why there's the reaction, and this is why I believe it's going to be patched. Well, let's go ahead and get out of here, guys. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the one that has the biggest mission payout. So 10, or the biggest amount of cargo. 12, 12, 10, Alright, let's just use this one. So we're going to go with that one. The reason why is it'll make us faster in all of the other ones, and they're all going to be pretty much clumped together anyway, as you can see here. And it's actually the closest one, go figure. So I'm going to go ahead and plot my route there. And one thing I like to do for smuggling missions is I like to actually select the station I'm going to be going to. Saves me a little bit of time when I'm out in Super Cruise, and it lets me see how far away. So this is only going to be 34 light seconds away. Easy peasy. Alright guys, how many jumps is that going to be? 16. So yeah, this isn't going to take very long at all.
Released. Engines engaged. Landing gear retracted.
Alright, so we're going to watch the info tab and the contacts tab. We're going to make sure that we're not getting followed. If we're not, fuel scoop away. If we are, jump.
Frameshift drive charging 2. 1.
Well, of all times for them to do that. Oh, that's bad. A big haul like that. Okay, so this is a pirate. So this is what you do when you encounter a pirate. You angle your butt towards the sun. You slow down. You drop out. Throw it in reverse. Open up your deploy your hard points. The moment he drops in, now you don't have to actually kill the pirates that come after you. I could have just tagged him once to stop him from scanning and then booked it, but I wanted to show you guys that 2 small gimbal beam lasers is perfectly fine.
4, 3, 2.
Now this is system security, so I'll go ahead and show you guys what to do with these guys.
Disengaged.
Make sure you stay behind them. Drop out. Throw it in reverse. Deploy your hard points.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
There you go. Flip it forward and charge your flameshift drive and get out of there. 4 pips in the shield so they don't take you out. And you're good to go. Well, there we go. Now if you do get interdicted, try to fight it.
Ready to engage.
When it starts getting away from you like that, give it a good, like your dog would do if it's losing a tug of war with you. Thrash about a little bit. Try to line it up quicker than they are. And then try to hold it. There you go. That's how you avoid an interdiction.
4, 3.
So the less time you spend in Super Cruise, the better. So get away from any planetary bodies that have a gravitational mass. And since they all have this, I can't remember the exact term for it, but they follow this disk, you want to get above that disk and away from all of these planetary bodies, and then kind of come in at the last second. For any sort of station, you want to get between the station and the planet, or any whatever it is that it's orbiting around, planetary body. So you can go ahead and get in between at the last second here, throttle up to full, drop in. Now whenever you first drop in, wait for a second. Don't boost or anything, because there might be an authority vessel that literally drops in right on you. Now we're in a hurry.
Docking request granted.
Oh, that's just a guy trying to get a mission. But if that was an authority vessel, it would be the same principle. Run away. Easiest way to smuggle and the most effective way to smuggle is to be fast. Get past the security and you're golden. So go in here to go to the bulletin board, refuel after that, obviously. And we're going to go ahead and start. So, there you go. There's some money right there. Oh, and hey, look at this, a charity mission. go ahead and purchase the data. And this is only 500 light seconds out. Let's do it.
Teased. Engines engaged. Landing gear retracted.
So boost the moment you get through the door, and then keep boosting in a straight line until you're able to get into frameshift drive. That is the quickest way away from the cops and the station.
Drive charging.
Once you are, you can go ahead and line up to your destination. Now let's see if that cop follows me in. Yep, there he is.
Scan detected.
Let's go ahead and whip out the guns. Holy crap!
Exceeded. Frameshift drive charging.
Haha!
2, 1, engage.
Can't catch me, coppers! Alright. No donation missions. And let's see, next one. 5 more minutes for 20 minutes. Okay.
Landing gear deployed.
Check again. Unauthorized loitering.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Alright, let's make another meal. Alright guys, so because the servers are going to be going down, I'm going to be picking this up in a little bit, but as you can see right now we're at 6:59, and there it is. So guys, I'll catch you here in a bit. Hey everybody, welcome back. So the servers came back online, I took a little break, and in our absence here, I went ahead and failed a couple of missions because I took too long. But that's fine. There it is. So let's try to win it. If we win it, it goes away. And it doesn't look like we are, so I'm going to go ahead and submit. And I'm going to boost immediately. Because I don't want to get hit by a couple of clippers again. That hurt.
Flight assist on. Frameshift drive charging.
Let's see if that guy shows up. Nope. Or yes.
Scan detected.
Alright, fine, buddy.
Capacity exceeded. Frameshift drive charging.
Go ahead and give this one away. Ooh. Oh, good thing you're slow. Another 5 million. I wonder if he's still out there. Yep, still out there. He's chasing me too. You will never get this. You will never get this. Come and get some. There you go. Just let it happen. Let it happen. There you go. Here comes the pirate. Yep. Alright, you're just wanted, but I'm gonna still try to fight you. Because sometimes the cops show up too to ruin your party. There we go.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Now some people will say to go ahead and go in every time. I'm not one of those people. Unless the instance spawns somebody that's going to scan you, nobody's going to scan you. Let's make another just under 4 million. Let's see. Nope.
Landing gear deployed. Docking successful. Engines disengaged. Landing gear deployed.
Locking bay access is a crime. Don't risk annihilation.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged. Docking request granted. Scan detected.
We're just gonna have to run it. We're too close to the station. I'm gonna let this guy interdict me. There it is. Alright. Leave me alone. So despite the fact that Robigo itself does not have Federation powers there to go ahead and get it, I am still getting quite a bit of rank for the Federation. Not as well as the Fehu one does, but still pretty freaking good. Only 100 light seconds out, and all the destinations have been nice too. Fehu has a couple that are like 300 light seconds away. Alright, cops. This is your last chance. No? Smooth sailing then.
Docking request granted.
Alright, guys. This is gonna be it. So this took me just under an hour to go ahead and deliver the rest of these. So if we give the 2 missions I failed 15 minutes a pop, that means this whole thing basically took me 2.5 hours. And I would have gained, if I, didn't take too long to come back. Do I still have that up? 48 mil, so just under 50 mil. 2.5 hours work. If I'd completed all of the missions, and we gave those 2 missions that I failed an extra 15 minutes a pop, which is actually kind of generous, that would mean that this trip would have made me 19,554,116.4 credits per hour, which is nuts. And in fact, that's better than I'm making with the cutter. So expect this to get nerfed. And in my opinion, this is all well and good for somebody like me who has, their trade rank. I mean, I've already got a lot of money. For me, this is really no big deal. But I'm elite in trading. So You know, for me to be able to find missions that pay this well and be able to use an asp this late in the game, this is a good way to do that. You know, it even made me do this. Now granted, I should be making more in a cutter if I'm smuggling in a cutter. So I don't think they've quite balanced out quote-unquote sandbox smuggling quite yet. And they don't, because I'm smuggling Imperial slaves in that thing and I'm making less than I did here. Which is saying something. And, again, for somebody like me, that's fine. Because I am making close to that amount, which, in my opinion, I should be making more doing that, and this is fine. This could be toned down a little, but only if you're elite in trading should you be getting missions where you're smuggling 1 ton and you're getting 1,000,000 credits to do it. I think that's fine. That gives me a reason to use this asp this late in the game. But it is completely broken for new players. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for sticking with me. Thank you so much. I noticed when I hit over 5,000 subscribers, and guys, that's a major milestone for me. That's big. When I started covering Elite Dangerous, I had 400 subscribers. It's an honor, guys. Thank you so much. You've given me the best but the best Christmas present I could have gotten. It means a significant amount to me that I'm progressing here on YouTube. And it wouldn't be without you guys, very obviously. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing my videos, all that stuff. It really does help out a ton. I really, really, really do appreciate it. And normally I don't do videos like this that kind of show these quick ways of getting rich. But I figured, since I can't afford to do a giveaway or something, I'd go ahead and take the time to make the video about it. That's it for this episode. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks again. Peace.